In today's competitive business landscape, maintaining quality and consistency is paramount. But what happens when a company chooses to ignore one of the most recognized quality management standards in the world? Hello guys, it's Halcyon from Halcyon Consultancy. Today we'll be talking about the ISO 9001:2015 standard with Mr. Rasita Niroshana, Managing Director of Halcyon.
Hi, I'm Rasita Niroshana. I'm working as a project director for Halcyon Private Limited. Actually, I'm looking after the technical part of the entire consultancy business.
Before we get into today's video, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already and click that bell icon to receive updates on our videos. Hello Mr. Rasita Niroshana, it's good to see you. How are you today?
Yeah, nice to be here, and I'm really good, and I'm pretty much excited for this program.
So the topic for today is ISO 9001. So could you give us like a brief explanation on that to get started with?
Okay, say like we basically work with the corporate. So if somebody wants to understand the management system or like how good this organization is, so this will be a one key parameter because it's an international standard and globally recognized. And then if somebody said we are certified for ISO certain standard 9001, 2015, whatever the number, people have like the faith and understanding. Okay, this particular organization has covered this particular requirement, and then they have a good strong system. So that indicate that's for the external, and internally also any organization can get a lot of benefit with the implementation of this standard because it look into so many elements. So that's two way. Internally you have so many benefits, plus externally also like you have a very big market value out of it.
So what does the ISO 9001 actually include, like the key points about it?
Right, ISO 9001:2015 standard pretty much focus on the two main aspects. One is about the risk mitigation, like business risk mitigation plan, and other one is about the process approach. So why you need to minimize the risk? Organization risk you try to minimize. Again, the processes have to be streamlined, and then all processes has to be continually improved just to make sure your customers are happy. So standard pretty much work on customer focus, continual improvement, and then your processes. So this is about ISO 9001:2015 standard.
You list out a few benefits of ISO 9001.
There are so many benefits organization can obtain when you have ISO 9001:2015 implementation. It can be internal benefits as well as external benefits. One is like customer have a trust. This particular organization has a system and it will be audited and approved by the third party certification body. So that trust will be there. So that's a key requirement. And then organization tend to monitor customer satisfaction. So it's a mandatory requirement. So you start to get a lot of information about your customer, like first-hand information. And then always your processes, organization is not going to depend on a person. It purely based on the process approach. And then organization started to improve on your process approach. So that will minimize the waste, like time waste, any other type of waste, right? And then ISO 9001, it's a teamwork. You need to bring everybody into the same platform. So everybody has to work towards common goal. So people involvement will be very high. And then of course, you have a competitive advantage having 9000 because you have a strong team. Organization is run based on the processes, and then processes are monitored. And then always you are getting direct feedback from your customer for your improvement. So these are the key benefits when you implement ISO 9001.
Okay, that was helpful. Mr. Rasita, can you tell us the process of obtaining the ISO certification, 9001 certification?
Yes, I think that will be a common question from all the industries right now. So once, how to obtain a ISO 9000 to the 15 certification. So first thing, you need to get a standard. Like this standard has 10 elements. Out of that, first 3 is specific for the standard, but element number 4 onwards, you have to make sure you properly implement, right? So previously there was a myth people think when you want to ISO, it's you need to have a lot of documentation. But right now, there are organizations we have been working with, there actually zero documentation, because it goes with the ERP system and all. But you have to make sure your entire requirement given by the standard has to be implemented properly. Then once you implement this element number 4 to, like we call it context analysis, element number 10. So I mean, like most of the organization, most of the requirements have been covered, but you have to make sure it will be there. So our advice is, first do a gap study against the standard, and then identify the gaps and develop action plan, define the responsibility with the relevant team members, and then you can review. So once you complete the implementation, you need to do a internal audit and a management review. So that's the final phase. So once you complete up to this, and within the organization, when you are in a satisfactory level, you can select the certification body. There are plenty of certification bodies available in Sri Lanka. So you can select the certification body, and then they will come and do two audits. One is we call adequacy of first audit, and then they will identify if there's any gaps. So we need to correct it again, and then they will come back, do the certification, they can do the recommendation. So once you recommend for certification, they will take about like 2 to 3 weeks time, and then they will, after that, they will issue a certificate. So once the certification body issue a certificate, that will be valid for 3 years, right? But every year there will be a surveillance audit. So within that particular year, you need to cover entire circle, like your process approach, KPI, objective monitoring has to be day-to-day ongoing activity. But only additional part is you have to do your internal audit as per the organization, maturity, risk factors. You can define your internal audit, and the management review you need to do. So once you implement, the certification body will every year they will come and do the surveillance audit. So once you get the certificate, valid for 3 years, but it will be audited every year as a surveillance audit. I believe I give you a kind of a basic understanding about this requirement.